Wow, amazing editing. And if you didn't get the reference, well, I guess that sucks for you. So the Bulls finally did it. They blew it up! Thank you, Charlton Heston. The Bulls blew it up. They traded Jimmy Butler. Now, the Bulls front office and Bulls fans have been up and down about trading Jimmy Butler. Hell, if you look at my channel, I've been bipolar as hell about it. I've made a video about how they shouldn't trade him and how they should. Now, as of recently, I have been in favor of trading him, and I am glad it happened. As for the actual trade, was it a good trade? No. Was it a bad trade? Maybe a little bit. But it could have been worse. Where do the Bulls go from here? Well, unfortunately, Zach LaVine isn't going to play until February, which really sucks. And with his ACL injury, he's the biggest risk in this trade. Now, if he comes back and he's at full strength, his jumper looks good, and he hasn't lost his bounce, I'll be willing to call this a good trade. I really think LaVine can be a star for the Bulls. His shot creation is already great, his shooting is already borderline elite, which, considering it was a huge question with him going into the NBA, shows that he has the work ethic to seriously improve. And he averaged 18.9 points and 3 assists as a third option, and he shot 46% from the field and 39% from 3 this season. He has been great. Another factor in this trade is Lauri Markkanen. Now, I wanted the Bulls to take Malik Monk as he was still available, and I saw him as the safest pick. Not that I'm not okay with Markkanen. Hell, I made this thumbnail for a video I was going to do about Lauri. Unfortunately, the script I wrote wasn't good, so I ended up doing a My GM. Anyways, I think Lauri has serious star potential, but I also think he could be a bust. He has a huge chance to be a star and a huge chance to be a bust, which concerns and excites me at the same time. For those who don't know, Markkanen is a 7-foot stretch combo big man. He can play both the 4 and 5, he's lengthy, and he can shoot the 3 ball. He's deadly in the pick and pop, and he can also put the ball on the floor and score. The biggest weakness in his game is scoring in the post, and especially his defense. His length saves him a lot on defense, but his lateral quickness has been called into question, and his overall defensive instincts are questionable. But I think with his size and offensive versatility, he could be at best a Kristaps Porzingis and at worst Channing Frye. One thing I can say in the Porzingis comparison, he is much more built than Porzingis, as you can see in this photo. Size isn't a huge problem for him. Also in this trade is Chris Dunn. Now, I don't need to tell you how bad this dude was, I'll just show his stats here. But still, it was his first season, and his minutes were up and down. You can't just throw him out as a bust yet, and that's a strong yet. He still has the size, and he still has the athleticism. His shooting and playmaking are in question, and he's getting a new opportunity in Chicago. He could potentially be starting next season, as I doubt Rondo has any interest in re-signing with Butler gone, as he has a mutual option with the Bulls, which is essentially a team and player option combo. So Dunn is getting an opportunity here, and I imagine he will be working his ass off to improve in the offseason. Of course, in this draft, the Bulls ended up trading their second-round pick for money because the management are greedy bastards. The one thing that really pissed me off about this deal was that they included the 16th pick. We know damn well that the Wolves would have taken this deal without that pick, and the Bulls just kneeled over and gave it to him. Which, by the way, is funny to me because Tom Thibodeau, who the Bulls management fired, is the GM of the Wolves, so he orchestrated this deal and proceeded to prove why he was the better man within the Bulls management. Anyways, other young players on this team that I think will be valuable for the Bulls down the line. I'm all in on Paul Zipser. Dude's already a great 3-and-D player, and with him starting next season, I think he could average up to 20 points, not because he's a legitimate 20-point scorer, but because the Bulls have pretty much nothing as a scoring option. Bobby Portis. I used to think he could be a star. That is not the case anymore, but he can be a solid role player. I could see him as a JaMychal Green type of player. a mid-range shooter, sometimes three-point shooter, who's athletic and a good defender. I don't expect that this season, but I'm sure he will be used a lot as a pick-and-pop player. Also, Denzel Valentine. His rookie season was up and down, but he's a good shooter and playmaker. I'm sure he will get to start at the 2 with Levine out, so he will have the opportunity. For what they should do in free agency, well, one, hopefully Dwayne Wade opts out, but for 1 year it's not really gonna matter. They should sign young players with potential. Knowing Garpax, they'll probably just offer a max contract to Rudy Gay and Zach Randolph, but what they should do is sign young players. Guys I have in mind, Ben McLemore. He sucked in Sacramento, and he will be cheap. And at worst, he just isn't that good, and at best, he ends up being really good with a change of scenery. Also, I like Allen Williams as a free agent, a rebounding and defensive big who can score in the pick and roll. Also, I would like to see the Bulls try and sign Yogi Ferrell. After the Mavs drafted Dennis Smith Jr., they probably won't be willing to match a large contract for him. I'd also like to see them get KJ McDaniels. He was one of my favorite players when he was on the Sixers, and I think he will be a great wing defender. Also, the Bulls need to trade Robin Lopez. He's a solid defender and rebounder, an average starter but great backup, so trading him for a first-round pick from a playoff team with cap space seems plausible. Now, this team is going to suck, no question, but there's a benefit to sucking, and that is the first pick in the draft. Next year, they can get the first pick and draft Michael Porter Jr. Get ready to become the new 76ers, Bulls fans. It's going to suck for a while, but next year the Sixers are going to have a lineup of Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Dario Saric, and Joel Embiid, so it works out in the end. And I just want to say, I've been pushing for Jimmy Butler to be traded for a while. And when it finally happened, I wasn't as happy as I thought I would be. Not because the trade wasn't great, but because Jimmy Butler has been my favorite player since 2014, and I'm going to miss him. When I first saw Jimmy play, he was a defensive player who had no offensive game and was a below-average starter. And when I last saw him play, he was a top 15 player, a superstar, a scoring machine, and a 3-time All-Star. Really sad it didn't work out with him in Chicago, and I wish him the best of luck in Minnesota. This video is way too damn long. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.
I dare you play your cards, boy, you bet I'm a trendsetter too. Fire when the strobe hits you.
That's it, Brian? Yes.